everyone, you've tuned into Buy Now, Sell Now, the weekend edition. I'm Mubina Kapasi.
Hi everyone, I'm Avan Dabash and we've got lots lined up today on the show. With a slew of earnings, I'm sure you want to know what to do with individual stocks, so here's what we'll be discussing on the show. We've got Maruti up for discussion, Tata Steel and questions coming in on GMDC.
And in our portfolio segment, we'll be discussing Shivani Chauhan's portfolio.
Time to bring on board our guest. Vikas Sethi is the Managing Director at Sethi Finmart. He joins in to chat fundamentals. And on the technicals is Jay Thakkar, Senior Technical Analyst at Sharekhan. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. Let's start off with our first query for the day. Well, this one has been sent in to us from Joseph. In fact, he has two queries. The first one is regarding Maruti. So let's get the question going. He's bought 20 shares of Maruti. His price point is 2,800. He's got a long-term time horizon and now he's confused. Should he hold on or should he sell out of this stock? Well, let's get in a view on the fundamentals first up. Regarding the kind of impact demonetization has had on earnings, what the growth outlook is going forward, how does Maruti look in terms of the valuation setup as well? And would it be prudent for him to buy more? Vikas, if you can just throw some light on all these details.
At the outset, I think the investor needs to be commended for having bought Maruti at these levels and more importantly, for holding on to the stock for so long. So he's making good returns out of the stock of Maruti, but I think he can continue to hold on to Maruti because I feel this company would deliver, it has delivered over the past few years, and I think it will continue to deliver robust set of numbers over the next few years because of the kind of recovery which we are witnessing in the economy, the impact of, say, the seventh pay commission and the recovery in rural economy would be pretty positive for this company. Even the recent tie-up with Toyota would also augur well for the company. So I would recommend a hold on Maruti, and I think he can see a target of 7,000 rupees on the stock in a year.
Okay, so more upside potential is what Vikas Sethi is actually recommending. 7,000 rupees is the target on Maruti. But on the fundamentals, you know, he certainly does have a very long-term time horizon. He's bought it at a level of only 2,800 rupees and the stock is doing wonders for him. But Jay, what would you advise him? Do you think that, you know, he should probably hold on for some more time?
Yeah, I think Maruti is one of the performer in the index and one should hold on to it. Basically if you see post the 2008 recession, among the very few large cap stocks, Maruti was one of which took off the 2008 high quite before the index did. And it's quite running ahead of the index and clearly showing that index is in the bull market, India is in the bull market, and this is one of the leading stock, I would say, rather in not only in the auto sector but also in the index, which is clearly showing the higher tops and higher bottom formation and the long-term uptrend clearly on the monthly and the quarterly charts. So this has been one of my favorite in the past as well, and in future too. I think that the way this stock has recently taken off its previous swing highs, I think this stock is quite likely to inch towards the 80-200 levels in the long term. On the lower side, the recent lows post demonetization which we had seen of around say 47.65, I think that's a very good panic bottom, and till those levels are held, I think there is no problem for the long term investors as far as Maruti is concerned. On the upside, 80-100 is the minimum target that I look out for, and 47.65 will be the stop loss. So the one who is holding already, at around 2,800 levels, the purchase price was that. I think right now that person is sitting at a good profit, and one can continue to ride the trend. I mean, till you don't see that clear-cut evidence. So I think still the risk reward is somewhat 1:2 from these levels as well. It is quite safe to revise the trailing stop loss to 47.65 and hold it for a target of around 80-100.
Okay, there you have it, a consensus call coming in on Maruti. It's a good stock and great going, really. You've purchased it at a good price. You're making some very strong capital returns on that. Well, Joseph has another query, this one on Tata Steel, 200 shares. He's bought this at 380 rupees per share. Yet again, it's a long-term time horizon, and now he wants to know whether he should hold or if he should sell out. Well, what a set of earnings the company posted. Finally seeing a breakthrough for Tata Steel in terms of it posting a profit. The top line growth also is steady. And of course, there's been so much news with respect to Liberty House that has finally been concluded. So looks like things are moving in the right direction. Operationally, it was a great performance as well for the company. The India business has been doing fairly well. Let's understand, Vikas, what the outlook would be according to you. Tata Steel, good to go for more?
Yeah, one. The company reported its December quarter numbers on Thursday. The numbers were pretty strong. The stock was also in focus on Friday when they were able to sell their specialty steel business. So I think things are looking up for Tata Steel. Most of the metal stocks are in focus. Metal prices have also firmed up over the past few quarters. So I continue to remain bullish on Tata Steel, and I think the investor, although he's sitting on some profit, he could continue to hold on to the stock. My target on Tata Steel in a year's time would be 550 rupees.
Okay, hold call. That's what Vikas is saying on Tata Steel. 500 rupees is a target that you could watch out for. Jay, come in on Tata Steel. Bought in at a good price of about 380 odd rupees, sitting on some comfortable profits. Do you think that, with the good earnings being behind them, with the sale of the specialty steels, maybe things are now, this would probably be the highest point that Tata Steel could probably touch?
Well, first, let me come to the metal sector entirely. See, this sector has been doing good, since past 1 year now, and we are seeing that the mutual funds also, the one who had focused quite on the metal sector, in fact, or the metal sector specific mutual funds had done quite well last year, and in fact, they had somehow managed to beat the index as well as far as the returns are concerned, because that was the sector of the last year of 2016. I think going forward, the way the stock or the entire sector has just bounced back from the lows in 2016, I believe that the entire commodity cycle has reversed and they've just started the bull market now. We have seen enough of consolidation coming in the metal index and metal stocks, especially from 2008 until 2015. So there was like almost 8 long years of consolidation or correction, you can say. Some stocks had a deep correction and some went into the consolidation. Now Tata Steel was one which in 2008 had the deep correction, and in the following years from 2009 to 2015 it was consolidating, unlike the Vedanta who had broken 2008 lows as well. So Tata Steel somewhat already had that good fundamentals which was quite visible on the charts. In that process of consolidation, it had formed a good symmetrical triangular pattern on the longer term charts. That means that 200 is a rock bottom for Tata Steel. I don't see that breaking going forward now, for years to come now. And the kind of pattern which has been formed and the stock has reversed from the lower end definitely qualifies for the long-term buy. Now, since it has reversed from 200 and has reached almost like 460, 470 levels. So for the fresh investor, I would say that one can wait and wait and watch whether 500 gets broken or not on the upside. If that gets crossed or surpassed, then I think one can enter fresh as well. The targets will be about the 2008 highs, that is about 900 levels, and the one who's already holding, like this gentleman at around 380, I mean, it's a good entry level. If it comes down, I think that's nothing to worry, nothing to panic. One can hold on to this stock because it has started its bull market. 300 now will be a long-term support for this stock. Until those levels are held, I think one can continue to hold and ride the trend in the entire metal sector, especially Tata Steel. I am looking out for a long-term target about 900 plus.
Okay, it's a consensus hold call coming in. Jay as well is looking out for targets of as much as 900 rupees in the long term. But moving on to our last query, and it's from Yerlagadda from Hyderabad. He says he has bought 100 shares of GMDC at 118 rupees per share with a short-term time horizon, and he wants to know whether to hold or sell. Well, it's another commodity-related query, so let's get straight to it. Vikas, come in then. GMDC, do you think that, with the way coal prices are moving, maybe more and more people would probably want to shift to lignite, and thus it would probably be advantage GMDC, because that's the, it's on that back that we have seen the stock actually move up since the last couple of, let's say, months.
Yes, Mubina, again, fundamentally a very good company. I like the stock at the current levels. The investor has bought it at pretty close to the current market price. I think he should continue to hold on, and I think we could see levels of 150 rupees on the stock in about a year.
Okay, that's a fundamental take. Let's also understand what the chart patterns are. Do you think that this is a keeper in the portfolio? How exactly do you expect GMDC to trend? Jay.
Well, this stock was falling in a downward sloping channel, and it had a reverse from the lower end of the channel and has reached almost the upper end of the channel. So if someone is having a very short term view of say around 1 or 2 weeks, then I would say rather book it out if it is in profit, or if it comes into profit, then book it out. But if someone is having a really medium term view, that is around 6 to 12 months, then I think one should hold it on to it, because as I said, the entire sector looks quite positive to me, and I think going forward, once it manages to break out above the levels of around say 125, it would provide the breakout from this downward sloping channel. Thereafter, it will just inch towards the upper end of the channel, which comes to around 227. So from the medium term angle or medium term perspective, I would say rather one can hold it for a target of 227. The stop loss will be 86. But if it is really short term for 1 or 2 weeks, then I would say rather just book it out near resistance levels of 125.
Okay, that's the call coming in on GMDC, a medium-term target of 227, so there is some more upside potential. Let's slip into a short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing Shivani Chauhan's portfolio. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. This is Buy Now, Sell Now Weekend.
Okay, we've got our portfolio advisor segments lined up. Time to get straight to it. Well, today Shivani Chauhan has sent us her portfolio. She's an IT employee working in Pune. She's 36 years old and she has a long-term time frame. So she is looking to stay invested for the next 8 to 10 years. Let's find out which stocks she holds. 4 shares of Aisha at 21,200. There's Force Motors on the list as well, 28 shares at 1,500 rupees. Looks like she's fond of auto. Igarashi Motors features on the list at 560, close to 166 shares. Let's chat banks. There's Axis Bank at 440, 200 odd shares of SBI at 200 rupees. There's HDIL picked up at 62. Moving on to Advanced Enzymes, 39 shares at 1,930. And finally, Arvind at about 335 rupees. Let's get in a sense as to what exactly should be her outlook. And we've got Vikas Sethi with us. So Vikas, give us a sense as to what she should do with the first 3 stocks. Let's chat about those auto names. Aisha Motors, Force Motors and Igarashi Motors. Which ones do you like? Which ones do you think could be totally skipped?
All the 3 stocks which he has kept in his portfolio are good quality stocks. As far as Aisha Motors is concerned, he has bought it at the right level. He's sitting on some profit, but I think he could continue to hold on to the stock, and I have a target of 27,000 rupees on the stock in a year. The other stock which he owns is Force Motors, again a good quality company. He should be commended for having bought into this stock at such low levels and continuing to hold on to the stock for so long. He's already made 3-bagger return sort of. So I would recommend a hold on the stock, and my targets are 5,000 rupees on the stock in a year. And the third stock also is a good quality auto company by the name of Igarashi Motors. It's sitting on profits, but the stock looks good. And I think he could hold on to this stock as well. I have a target of 900 rupees on the stock.
Okay, all those 3 stocks get a thumbs up from Vikas Sethi. But let's move on and bring on board the next 3 stocks. Then Axis Bank, which is purchased at 440 rupees. Remember, the company did deliver a very disastrous set of numbers. There's SBI bought at 200 rupees. Of course, the results came out on Friday and was a decent set. And then there's HDIL, which she's purchased at 62 rupees. Vikas, what is your advice on these 3 stocks?
Mubina, as far as Axis Bank is concerned, although the results for December quarter were disappointing, but I think most of the negatives are more or less priced into the stock. He has bought it at the right time. He's sitting on some profits, and I think things are starting to look better for Axis Bank, and I would recommend a hold on Axis Bank with a target of 600 rupees on the stock in a year. The other bank which he owns is State Bank of India. The bank reported its numbers on Friday. The numbers were much better than estimates. So I continue to remain bullish on State Bank of India, and my target in a year would be 350 rupees. So I recommend a hold. And the third stock which he owns is HDIL, which this company I do not like. Although I'm bullish on the housing and the real estate space after the recent budget, which has done a lot of things about housing. But I don't think HDIL would be the kind of stock which one would be advised to be invested in. And I would rather advise the investor to play the housing sector to a housing finance company. And in that category, I like LIC housing at the current levels where I have a target of 850 rupees in a year.
Okay, that's the advice coming in on some of those stocks. Let's go on to the last two in the portfolio. Advanced Enzymes has been bought at 1930. Do you like this stock, the recent listing? What do you make of it? And Arvind?
Yeah, one advanced enzyme again is a good quality company. The company came out with its IPO and has given stellar returns to its investors. Although it has corrected from its recent highs, but the investor has bought it at the right levels. He might be incurring a small loss, but I think he should give it some time. If he continues to hold on to the stock, I think he would certainly make profits out of it. And my target on this stock would be 2,250 rupees on the stock in a year. And the final stock which he owns is Arvind, again, bought at the right levels, sitting on some profits. And the company did some monetization of its retail asset and got some good value out of that. So it's a good story, and I think he would be advised to hold on to Arvind as well. And my target would be 450 on Arvind in a.
All right, that's the strategy coming in on all of the stocks that are in your portfolio. Let's run it out through you. Eicher Motors, Force Motors and Igarashi Motors, all three auto stocks get a thumbs up from Vikas Sethi. In fact, Eicher Motors, you can look out for targets of 27,000. Force Motors, that has been purchased at a lower price, and 5,000 rupees is where Vikas is expecting that stock to go, and Igarashi at 900 rupees. Axis Bank, it's a hold call and a 600 rupee target from Vikas. SBI as well, hold call. 350 rupees is where he's seeing that stock move. He's not exactly enthused with HDIL, and he believes that you can replace it with LIC Housing. It's a buy and a target at 850 rupees. And moving on to Advanced Enzyme, once again a thumbs up from Vikas, target at 2,250. And Arvind as well is a hold from Vikas. But do keep in mind that this portfolio recommended here is only a model portfolio, and we do advise you to consult with your individual investment advisor before taking any investment decisions. Let's slip into a short break. When we come back, we'll be getting you some more technical as well as fundamental ideas. Welcome back. This is Buy Now, Sell Now weekend, and focusing on the markets, which have had quite a stellar run really last week. We were able to surpass the all-important 8,800 mark on the Nifty, so it was really good going over there. The broader markets as well managed to do pretty well for themselves. As you can see, the week's chart, we have done 0.6% of gains when it comes to that. The small cap index clearly outperforming 1% higher for the small cap index. Jay, coming then on the benchmarks, what's your own assessment on how we can move? Do you think that there is room for further up move from here on?
Well, I think yes. See, if we see the overall chart structure as of now, then the the index is definitely forming high tops and high bottom, which clearly shows that the trend is up. The momentum indicators are also trading well above the reference line, and they went into the buy mode, both on the daily as well as the weekly charts, which is also quite positive for the index. It's been trading, holding its uptrend line support, which is quite important. Until we don't see a close below the trend line, I mean, the trend clearly shows that the trend is up. And another thing which I've observed is that when I joined the previous two peaks, around 91.19 and followed by around say 89.60, 89.70 levels, right? So if I join those two peaks, then I get around 89.40 as the short-term target. So I believe that even if index has to fall, I mean, back to the levels of say around 83, 8400 levels from which it had broken out and gained this kind of a momentum, then I think it has to first reach towards the levels of 89 and thereafter 89.40. I mean, there is where we can see some pause or some consolidation or correction coming from. Till that doesn't happen, I think the trend is quite positive. 8600 on the near term is quite a crucial support, and above that 8680. So I mean, till this range of 8680 to 8600 is held, I mean, one can expect Nifty to inch towards the levels of 8900 initially and thereafter 8940.
That's the view coming in on the markets as a whole, but let's get in some of those recommendations going as well. Vikas, start off with you. Run us through what your top ideas are for the week and for the long term.
I have chosen two long-term ideas. My first idea would be a Syntex Industries. This company is a leading plastic and textiles company. In addition to that, the company is also into prefab buildings, monolithic construction, custom molding, and wastewater treatment solutions. Normally, the fortunes of this company are linked to a recovery in rural economy. And now that we've had good monsoon and the seventh pay commission has also been implemented, rural economy has done well, and that is reflected in the performance of this company. To add to that, I think the government's focus on low-cost housing and their Swachh Bharat Abhiyan or the Clean India initiative would be pretty positive for a company like Syntex Industries. And the big trigger going ahead would be the demerger of its prefab and the custom molding segment. I think that would lead to significant value unlocking in the coming quarters. So I'm bullish on the stock, and the stock trades at reasonable valuations of just about 8 times its trailing 12 months earnings. So I like the stock at the current levels of around 96, and I think we could see levels of 150 rupees on the stock in about a year. The second stock which I like is again, from the affordable housing sector. The name of the company is Ashiana.
Ashiana Housing as well as Syntex Industries, both are essentially plays on affordable housing. Jay, over to you then on the technicals, and for a shorter term perspective, what are the stocks that look good to you?
Well, as far as I remember, that I had a discussion with you, and it was, I guess, on the BNS and Weekend Show only, wherein I had made a call that to me it seems that the Nifty IT has bottomed out. The kind of hammer candlestick pattern which we have seen right at around 92, 9300 levels, and on that too on the monthly charts, for which coincides with the upper end, I would say the lower end of the upper sloping channel as well as the lower end of the downward sloping channel. Now the 3 points coinciding at the same point, and thereafter we see that the index bouncing back from those levels. Despite of so many negative news, index didn't make a new low. It held on to its previous lows of around 90 to 9300 levels, and again we are seeing an up move and the higher tops and higher bottom formations on the daily as well as the weekly charts. The indicators are quite oversold, is now again back into the buy mode both on the daily as well as weekly charts. So to me, I'm just taking a call that there's quite a high probability that Nifty IT has bottomed out, or even if it breaks the lows of say around 90 to 100 going forward, then we will not see it going down much. It would be again forming a bottom. So I think that the wave 5 on the upside on the quarterly and the yearly charts is pending, and keeping that view in mind, I think we can see some good momentum coming back in the IT stocks. As far as the short to medium term levels are concerned, I would recommend Mindtree. One can buy this for a target of around say 583. The stock too has formed a wave 4 like Nifty IT, so it's in sync with the index, and it's likely to inch towards the levels of 583 in the short to medium term. As far as long term is concerned, I believe that it's quite likely to inch to above the levels of 900. As of now, one can maintain a stop loss of 448 and go long on this. The second buy recommendation is on Petronet LNG. Now this stock has formed a beautiful symmetrical triangular pattern. It's quite a copybook pattern. The indicators are also well into the buy mode. The stock is trading above its short-term moving averages. It has also closed above the triangular pattern. In the recent budget, we had seen that the government had cut the custom duty from 5% to 2.5%, which is also quite positive for this stock. So I think that on the lower side, 369 is a very crucial support. Until this stock managed to hold on to those levels, it's quite likely to inch towards the levels of 430, which is a short-term target. So the risk reward is quite in favor of the bulls. So these are the two stocks which, to my mind, are quite offers a good risk reward from these levels.
Okay, there you have it. Those are some top recommendations coming in on the technical side. On that note, both Vikas and Jay, thank you so much for taking time out and joining in with your views as well as helping out our viewers with their queries. On that note, we're completely out of time right here on Buy Now Sell Now Weekend. Thanks so much for watching.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.